Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the House Agriculture and Rural Affairs Committee to order and ask you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Michelle, will you call the roll?
Hawthorne.
Here.
Borowitz. Here. Diamond. Here. Fee. Here. Gillen. Here. Hahn. Here. Hershey. Here. Irvin. Keller.
Proxy.
Plunk. Lawrence. Here. Millard. Here. Mostello. Here. Owlett. Here. Zimmerman. Here. Pashinsky. Here. Burgos. Here. Cephas. Here. Delicio. Here. Hangbidge.
Proxy.
Kozarowski. Here. Madden. Rapp.
Proxy.
Sappy. Here. Snyder. Here.
And we have a proxy for Urban also. We have two bills on the agenda today, House Bill 1971 and House Bill 1972, sponsored by our colleague, Representative Day, who is here with us. I'm going to ask Carrie to explain both bills together, since they go together, and then we'll turn to motions and questions and comments on the bill. So, Carrie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. House Bill 1971 amends the Safe Drinking Water Act, and House Bill 1972 amends the Agriculture Code, which is why the provisions couldn't be in one bill. The first bill, 1971, will remove food establishments that are registered with the Department of Agriculture and also produce bottled water for human consumption from the definition of a public water supply in the Safe Drinking Water Act. And then 1972 would require any food establishment that is producing bottled water for human consumption to meet the federal standards for bottled water. The Agriculture Code already requires a food establishment that is using or supplying bottled water for human consumption to meet the standards of the Safe Drinking Water Act. So the two of them go together. The reason is, it's kind of strange, but bottled water is not all the same, apparently. Well, I mean, it is the same, but it depends on what size bottle it's in as to which agency inspects it. So DEP is the inspector of the water source for all sources of water. And they are also inspecting water in bottles of half a gallon or more. And the Department of Agriculture inspects water in bottles of less than half a gallon because it's considered a food product. So as a food product of less than half a gallon, as a public water supply of over half a gallon. So these bills will remove that dual function of regulating the same water in bottles and have the Department of Agriculture regulate the bottled water in all sizes of the bottles, or I should say, regardless of the size of the bottle. But again, DEP is continuing to inspect the water source since they have that expertise. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Going to turn to the sponsor of the bills, Representative Day, for comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and appreciate Carrie's explanation. It's a classic example of something that's fairly simple that, as we started to work on it, needed to have a little bit more complex solution by two different bills because there was two parts that needed to be addressed in law. So I appreciate her definition. I really can't do better on that. And just backing off the technical side of what exactly we're doing and talking about the policy, if many times out here there becomes a little bit of turf war in departments or agencies, and sometimes some of us get involved in that as well. What I did with this is I was looking at the problem, and I didn't try to say, let's get rid of one group, let's get rid of the other. All I said is where the overlap is, let's make that just one person so it's less onerous, but maintains regulation and stability for safety over the entire process. So that's what the one thing I want everybody on the committee to understand. That's what I work toward. I didn't work toward having one department win over another department. I work toward relieving what potentially duplicative oversight and making it a hair easier to comply with safety. With that, I'd like to thank all of you for taking the time to hear these bills, and particularly both chairmen and their team, for they really worked very well together with this, and I appreciate your time. Any questions? I'll be glad to try to answer them as best as I can.
Thank you, Representative Day. Are there any questions on either bill from the members? Seeing none, I'll turn to Chairman Paszynski for comments.
Thank you, Representative Day. Good job. Happy to say that I'm a co-sponsor on these bills, and I appreciate your efforts trying to streamline the process. Also, the fact that this is not a competition between DEP and Department of Ag. We're all here for the good purpose of the customer. We've also received some concerns from the admin, from the various departments. They believe that we can definitely do what you're trying to accomplish, and I'm going to move forward on this bill with a yes. But I do encourage the continued conversation. I believe we can get DEP and Ag together to make sure we're able to do this appropriately. You know, DEP has the state and the federal authority to do this. And at this point, we don't believe one agency can do it all. So that being said, certainly thank you again for your efforts, and we'll support both bills. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I really appreciate your decision on how to proceed with this, and I will exercise the trust that you're placing to let it go past this level and let you know that I continue to work with our team and your team and the administration to address any technical concerns or any concerns that they have. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Paszynski. Any additional comments? Questions? Before we move the bills, I just want to address the fact that we received emails last night from both DEP and the Department of Agriculture in opposition to the bills. I want to point out to the members that the administration was notified over a month ago that we were moving these bills. And there seems to be a pattern here where we notify them that we're moving the bills, and then we don't hear we hear very little, and then right before our meeting, we hear comments that they're opposed or have concerns with our bills. And to me, that's disrespectful to the members. It's disrespectful to the committee. Chairman Paszynski and I work together, and I think have had a great working relationship and want to continue that. We want the feedback from the administration, but we don't want it at 8 o'clock the night before we're having the meeting. As I said, it's disrespectful, and to me, it's creating a situation where I'm at the point where I'll just send the public notice to the administration the same time the public gets it. What's the sense in notifying them a month before when it's not helpful, it's not productive, and like I said, it's not working together on issues. So I support the bills, of course, and think that the administration needs to get its act together if they want to work with us. Otherwise, we're just going to start moving bills and not give them any additional notice before we decide which bills to move. So the first bill that we'll consider is House Bill 1971, sponsored by Representative Day. It's moved by Representative Zimmerman and seconded by Representative Owlett. Are there any comments on the bill? Are there any negative votes? Are there any negative votes? Seeing none, hearing none, the bill is reported from committee unanimously. The second bill is House Bill 1972, sponsored by Representative Day. It's also moved by Representative Zimmerman and seconded by Owlett. Is there any discussion on that bill? Are there any negative votes? Seeing none, hearing none, the bill is reported from committee unanimously. I thank the members, and this is our last meeting of the year. Look forward to working with all of you in the new year. So we're adjourned. Thank you.